good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda, and this is Jar of Marbles. This is Jar of Marbles. Yes, it is a Jar. Thank you, Bob. That's all right. This week, I'd like to talk a little bit about drop the sword. Is your energy being forged in a fire of envy and others' discomfort with your enthusiasm, your youthful attitude to life? Is your expectation for greatness, whatever greatness is to you, is it going to be squashed by others? Welcome to this week's episode where we're going to talk a little bit about dropping the sword, where we can be smarter, use our shrewdness and own being goal-orientated. This episode is all about how you can achieve your dreams, not by brute force or sheer strength, but by being more strategic, more clever, and ultimately smarter in your approach. We all have had different starts in life. Some of us were young mums and mostly zero support from the young dads. Some families will step up and some just don't. Some of us will have kids with special needs, with some having no real support or time off to make sure you're doing okay. Everyone's needs at times have to exceed yours. But one day we realise that we must find time to put down that sword of being all things to all people and carve out time for not only our own needs, but for our wants. I'd love to be able to cover more scenarios for so many groups, but I'm sure there will be something here for you anyway. So whether you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, launch a new business, or simply become the best version of yourself, this episode is for you. Well, I'm here for it. Good on you, Bob. Let's take a moment to reflect on why the sword, that raw energy, that fight or flight mentality may not always be the answer to achieving success. You know what the real problem with reality is? The lack of background music. Oh, I love it. So, picture this for a second. You're standing in front of an obstacle and you're armed with a sword. Maybe it's your determination, maybe it's your pride, maybe it's your ego. You start swinging wildly, hoping to cut through the problem, but all you're really doing is exhausting yourself and leaving yourself vulnerable. It's an old habit, isn't it? I was thinking emotions are like farts. Oh, God. Yeah, it hurts when you hold them in. Some clear a room, some are silent, but in an appropriate and safe place. It's quite natural, isn't it, hey? Thanks, Bob. No, that's all right. When we face challenges, we tend to rely on brute force, on pushing through with sheer willpower. But here's the catch. Force isn't always the solution, and I'm sure that you know that. Sometimes the smarter path is to drop the sword altogether. In today's episode, we'll talk about why letting go of that fight first mentality can help you get smarter and just help you to push forward. And yet this morning, no one was standing next to my bed saying, "Your Royal Highness, here's your mimosa." Good on you, Bob. Dropping your sword, metaphorically speaking, means letting go of the rigid rules and constraints you impose on yourself. Now, that can be a hard thing to hear when it feels like everything is going against you, you can't seem to find any time for yourself, and probably for very good reason. But it doesn't mean that we've got to stop allowing creativity and playfulness to come into our life in some way. It's about releasing control, stepping away from perfectionism and embracing the natural flow of ideas and inspiration. I saw my wife slightly drunk yelling at the TV, "Don't go in there! Don't go in the church, you moron!" She was watching our wedding video again. Good on you, Bob. Yeah, no. In a world where we often are taught to focus on the end result and to always be productive or on guard, the act of dropping your sword is a small rebellion, a pause to reset by setting down the tools you hold tightly, whether it's the expectation of producing something perfect or even the competitive edge that fuels our daily struggles. You open up space for exploration, experimentation, and fun. I heard that by law you need to turn on your headlights when it's raining in Sweden. Okay. How the hell am I supposed to know when it's raining in Sweden? Good idea, Bob. Creativity often thrives when we let go of the pressures of outcome. It's in the moments of unguarded play that the best ideas rise.
Yeah, that's really true.
When you stop overthinking, that's when the unexpected happens and inspiration can flow like a river.
Like a blooming river.
This is the freedom to sketch, write, build or dream without worrying about precision or judgment. And even what you're planning now might not be ultimately what you do. It's just a start somewhere, do something. And then it really starts getting those creative juices flowing. Allowing yourself to be free from the sword of perfection can be incredibly liberating.
Oh, yes, sir, the sword of perfection.
Thanks, Bob.
It's all right.
It invites a sense of ease, lightness and joy into your work where the act itself becomes the reward, not just the result. And in these moments of freedom, creativity flows effortlessly and the process becomes an adventure, a journey where there are no wrong turns, only discoveries, new discoveries.
If you arrest a mime, do you have to tell me he has the right to remain silent?
So the simplicity of dropping your sword is not about abandoning purpose, but about recognising that sometimes the best way to move forward is to let go, loosen up, and let your imagination run wild.
Drop your sword, would you, fair dinkum?
So let's discuss why force isn't the answer.
My wife divorced me when she found out I only had 9 toes. Turns out she was lactose intolerant.
When we think of fighting for success, we often picture someone charging ahead, fists clenched, gritting their teeth, going all in with full force. But here's the thing. Force often leads to burnout. It can lead to tunnel vision, where you're so focused on pushing forward that you miss better opportunities that could make your journey smoother.
Sometimes I question my sanity, but the unicorn in the kitchen told me I'm just fine.
Good old unicorn.
Yeah, good old unicorn.
Good on you, Bob. Now, I'm not saying that hard work and diligence don't matter. Of course they do.
Yeah, of course they do, yeah.
But if your strategy is only about swinging your sword harder, you might miss the greater picture.
What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One is really heavy and the other is a little lighter.
There's a concept I want you to think about: working smarter, not harder. It's the ability to recognise that achieving your goals isn't always about putting in more effort. Sometimes it's simply about putting in the right kind of effort. Maybe not sometimes.
All the time?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, yeah.
For an instance, consider a chess master. They don't win by attacking every piece in sight, do they? They're constantly thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. They're patient, observant, and strategic. The chess master wins because they know when to advance and when to defend and when to step back. I know when I was running my sandwich bars, the preparation I put in made my days very smooth, and having everything on hand and ready for my customers, the pre-ordering, the anticipation, or the anticipating of the customers' ongoing requests, gave me opportunity to try out different recipes, and it really paid off. And it also forced me to be really organised with certain things that I made sure that I had plenty of stock. I found that there's always someone or persons who will be interested in what you're selling. In my case, I already had a set up business and was selling goods that I'd created that you couldn't get anywhere else. They were my recipes, and I felt quite motivated to create extra and try out different foods. It was actually quite good fun. And this where self-development activities can really lift your game. There are 4 types of personal growth that are fundamental to your personal development. There's emotional growth, social growth, intellectual growth, and career growth. And I was reading about the 7 pillars of self-development, and each method of self-care fits into one of the 7 pillars, which are mental, emotional, physical, environmental, spiritual, recreational and
social.
That's right.
Yeah.
A well-balanced self-care routine involves each of these, so avoid restricting yourself to just 1 or 2 of the pillars.
So how do you become shrewd? Am I shrewd?
Well, becoming shrewd, Bob, involves developing a combination of sharp perception, strategic thinking, and the ability to make smart decisions, often with a focus on practical outcomes.
Oh yeah, that sounds like me. Sometimes I always thought I'd be like a secret great secret agent.
Did you, Bob?
My wife yelled from upstairs and asked, do you ever get a shooting pain across your body like someone's got a voodoo doll of you and they're stabbing it? And I replied, no. And she responded, how about now? I know.
So being shrewd, it doesn't mean being manipulative or deceitful, but rather being astute, quick-witted, and able to navigate complex situations.
Is being shrewd like being cunning?
Well, cunning has had bad press. It can be connected to underhandedness, but being shrewd in this instance is more about cultivating critical thinking.
What's critical thinking?
Well, critical thinking plays a pivotal role in decision making. It helps individuals avoid impulsive, biased or poorly informed choices when they're, making a decision. So by questioning assumptions and considering alternatives, critical thinkers can make more rational, well-rounded decisions. This is especially important in situations where the stakes are high and the consequences of poor decisions are significant. So analyse situations objectively. When faced with a problem, look at it from all angles. Consider the pros and cons, potential risks and benefits. Don't rush to conclusions.
No rushing.
Yeah, to be proficient at critical thinking, consider all that is involved that you know about. Consider what you might not know, and don't apply emotion, and definitely don't rush.
Yeah, righto. So in this instance, keep the sword in the cupboard.
Yeah, definitely. Drop the sword. Use your brain. Wise to question assumptions. Always challenge the status quo and ask why something is the way it is. This helps you uncover hidden truths and avoid common pitfalls. You cannot take things at face value, no matter how well packaged it is.
Whoa, boy, that's true, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Life experiences will teach you to check and recheck. Learn from mistakes. As I say, pay attention to past experience, your experiences, both your own and others. Analyse what went wrong or what went right, and use that knowledge to improve your decision making in the future.
So that's sort of like, that's critical thinking.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Obviously, for myself, and I know family and friends feel the same way, their experiences have shaped them. They've certainly shaped mine. So you've got to stay informed. Knowledge is power. Read widely, not just in your area of expertise, but also in general. The more you know, the more informed your decisions will be.
Hey, what do you call a group of anxious dinosaurs? Nervous Rex.
Observe people and trends. Pay attention to the behaviour of others, whether in business, politics, or personal interactions. Understanding human nature can help you make better predictions about what people might do next. So we're on the same road now of improve your emotional intelligence. Read people. Being shrewd means understanding what motivates others, both their words and actions. And it doesn't take long to work this out about people. Everyone has patterns. Pay attention to non-verbal cues like body language and the tone of voice.
You do that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Most switched people do. I'll say that again. Most switched on people do. Don't take too much for granted. People really are what they appear to be.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. Control your emotions. Reacting impulsively can cloud judgment. Practice self-control and avoid letting your emotions dictate your actions.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Clouded judgment can really blow situations out of proportion. And that's not to say that you're not entitled to react or, do your bun or get upset. You are human after all. But there are certain circumstances where you can go, you know what, this does not require my reaction. And also empathy. You've got to have a little bit of empathy for yourself and obviously for others as well. You put yourself in others' shoes to understand their perspectives. So if someone is being upset, they might actually have really good reason for. Maybe nobody's listened to them, and you might be that person too. You might not have just been listening, and then suddenly they've exploded, and it's like, oh. So all these sort of things, especially understanding another's perspective, will help you to make decisions that are beneficial for everyone involved.
You're getting old when a recliner and a heating pad's your idea of a hot date.
So develop strong negotiation skills. Know what you want. Understand your goals clearly before entering any negotiation or discussion. Read the room. Pay attention to the other party, how they're behaving, what they're having to say, when to pull back. It's sort of all part of being shrewd, and it's the key to being shrewd.
there were a pill to cure procrastination, I'd probably take it tomorrow.
Be patient. Don't rush into decisions. Sometimes it's best just to wait for the right moment, gather more information, get back to the person with your answer, and just allow the other party to reveal their hand.
Oh, yes, that's quite right.
Yeah. So this is, again, thinking strategically. Long-term vision, being shrewd, means thinking not just about immediate gains, but about the long-term consequences. Consequences. Oh, shut up, Bob. Consequences of your actions. Important to weigh short-term rewards against long-term costs. Plan ahead. Anticipate challenges and prepare for them. Think about possible outcomes and how you can react to them in advance. Are you able to adapt quickly? A shrewd person knows when to adjust their plans. If a situation shifts, they can pivot and adapt to new circumstances without losing their advantage.
I did my first nude painting yesterday. The neighbours weren't happy, but the front door looks great.
Be cautious with trust. Trust wisely. While it's important to build relationships, be cautious about who you trust completely. People can have hidden motives.
You were going to say middle motives, weren't you?
Yeah, it was actually. And being too trusting can lead to betrayal or exploitation. Maintain a healthy skepticism. Skepticism? Oh,
you're not really doing well today, are you? No, not really.
No, not really. Skepticism. Not everyone is as it seems. So especially when you're dealing with high-stakes situations. And we've all come across that saying, if it seems too good, then it probably is. This in turn will sharpen your decision-making skills. Check out what you're being told or sold. Risk management. Shrewd individuals assess risk carefully. You don't want to take unnecessary risks, but you also don't want to avoid all risks as they can lead to missed opportunities.
It sounds a bit tricky to me.
No, it's not. You've got to make decisive choices, Bob. Once you've gathered enough information and analysed the situation, done a little bit of background checks, take action. Being wishy-washy can be detrimental to your progress.
Hey, what do you call the pink fleshy bits between sharks' teeth? Slow swimmers. Ha ha ha.
We've got to learn from outcomes, whether your decision was good or bad. Assess the outcome to improve your decision-making for the next time. So, seizing opportunities. Shrewd people know how to recognise opportunities when they arise and take advantage of them swiftly and effectively. Networking, building connections, building relationships with the right people in your personal and professional life can create opportunities while not be immediately down the line. It's so interesting. Different people that we've had interactions with can often be a source of information, connection, and opportunity for your own advancement and maybe even for collaboration. By continuously improving these aspects of your thinking and behaviour, you can become shrewder, making smarter, more calculated decisions that lead to greater success in various areas of life. So, the power of cunning over force. So what does it mean to be cunning in the context of success? It's about being clever in your approach, being shrewd, about using your mind to outsmart obstacles. It's not necessarily about tricking others. It doesn't have to be that. It's about using strategy, planning, and insight to maneuver around roadblocks. So many people really actually enjoy this game, this business outlook, because you can become so successful. And if we look at some of the world's most successful people, I mean, obviously there's many, but I was looking at the founder of Spanx, Sarah Blakely, the successful shapewear brand, which made her one of the youngest self-made female billionaires. Then there's Naomi Simpson, industry. She's in technology and e-commerce. Her company, Red Balloon, probably have heard of it. She's the founder of Red Balloon, a leading Australian online experience gift retailer. Red Balloon offers unique experiences such as skydiving, spa treatments, hot air ballooning, and she's known for her thought leadership in entrepreneurship and leadership. You would have probably heard of Janine Ellis. She's in the food and beverage industry, and her company is Boost Juice. Janine Ellis is the founder of Boost Juice, a popular Australian juice and smoothie company starting with a small kiosk in Adelaide. Boost Juice has grown into an international brand with over 500 stores globally. Now, these people just didn't outwork their competitors. They outthought them. They were cunning. How can you apply that mindset? It starts by asking yourself, how can I approach this goal in a way no one else has thought of before? Dropping the sword.
Yeah, so how do we do that?
Well, I want to challenge you to do something radical. I want you to drop the sword, let go of the immediate urge to fight, to force things into existence. Instead, take a step back. Assess the situation with a clear mind. Dropping the sword isn't about giving up at all or being passive. It's about gaining clarity.
Oh, yeah.
It's about stepping away from the battlefield to strategize. In fact, some of the most brilliant leaders in history won their battles not by fighting head on, but by knowing when to retreat and plan their next move. When you drop the sword, you allow your creativity and intuition to take over. You create space to be agile, to experiment, and to learn. I know in my first business, but a complete mistake that I made. Some food had fallen into some food underneath in the fridge. A curry mix fell into this mince mix, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I found some mango and did this big mix thing and created curry mango burgers. And that was just pure experimentation. And also because I didn't want to waste the meat that had fallen into the mince that I had at the time. And so because I had a bain marie, it just keeps everything hot. I just had an area filled with those and thought, well, they go, they don't. Well, they turned out to be incredibly popular. The next day people were coming in for them. Of course, I didn't have the products. I didn't have any curry. I didn't have any mango. And so I had to learn how to make mango relish and how to duplicate what I'd done the day before. Fortunately, it worked out. All right, so how do you cultivate this smarter, more cunning approach to reaching your goals? First, it starts with self-awareness.
Oh, no, not self-awareness.
Yes, Bob. Understand your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Be honest with yourself about what you're good at and where you might need help. The smartest people in the world aren't afraid to lean on others, whether that's experts in their field or even a team of people who complement their skills.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Second, get comfortable with flexibility. The best plans are adaptable. Goals evolve. Problems change. If you're too rigid, you'll miss opportunities to pivot when needed. Be open to adjusting your strategy when necessary. Third, adopt a mindset of continuous learning. The world is constantly evolving, and so should you. Read books, take courses, learn from people who have already walked the path you're on. The more knowledge you gather, the smarter your decisions become. I know that when I need to learn anything or I want to find answers or a start to something, I will go onto YouTube, and I have taught myself so much from that platform. It's absolutely amazing, and I still do to this day. I'm teaching myself new skills right now on the internet and realising that the deeper I go, the more I really don't know, but I want to learn. So it's something I would highly recommend. Lastly, learn the art of waiting for the right moment. Sometimes being cunning means waiting until the timing is perfect. Being able to bide your time until the situation is right can be one of your most powerful tools. And of course, this is, not going to be in every situation, but certain situations do require that. Being a strong woman means embracing your power, confidence and resilience without needing to apologise or hide it. It's about standing tall in who you are, assertive, capable,
Beautiful.
well, unafraid to show your abilities. You don't need to diminish your strength to make others feel comfortable, nor do you need to force it upon anyone. The key lies in balance. Be firm and stand your ground, but do so with grace and respect for those around you. A strong woman knows when to speak up and when to step back. She commands attention not through boastful words or grand gestures, but through her presence, her actions, and the way she carries herself.
Yeah, well, how do you carry yourself?
Very carefully in my shoes, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, righto.
She doesn't seek validation, nor does she need to prove anything to anyone. Drop the sword.
I recently bought a toilet brush. Long story short, I'm going back to toilet paper.
Oh, yuck, Bob. So just briefly in regard to looking out for yourself or when you may need to hide your sword or show your sword or drop it, recognise unfairness early. It'll always be exactly what it seems to be. Set boundaries. Once you recognise that you're dealing with unfairness, it's important to set clear boundaries.
I had a friend who was always late until his doctor recommended sleeping in his herb garden. Now he wakes up on time. Get it? Time.
Yes, Bob. Gather information. Being informed is one of your best defences. Develop a plan for escaping a situation. In situations where the unfair behaviour persists or escalates, having an exit plan is crucial. In the workplace, look into other job opportunities, whether it's transferring departments or even finding a new employer. In personal relationships, consider distancing yourself from toxic individuals or preparing to break off the relationship if necessary.
My friend Gav, he died yesterday from taking heartburn tablets. Can't believe Gav is gone. Get it? Gav is gone.
Yes, Bob. Stay calm and detached. When faced with unfairness, it's easy to react emotionally, right? Responding with anger or frustration often plays into the hands of unfair individuals. So make sure you can seek support and know when to walk away. In some cases, no matter how informed or prepared you are, the best choice may always be just to walk away. And above all else,
yes, I bet you're going to say something about self-care.
well, yeah, have to practice self-care.
Hey, why do people have so much trouble growing and changing anyway?
Well, look, I'm no expert, Bob, but one reason people might resist change, because I've done it myself, is because they focus on what they have to give up instead of what they have to gain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So trust yourself. Above all, trust you. Trust yourself. You have the ability to make decisions that are in your best interest. When you take care of yourself, gather information and approach the situation strategically, and you empower yourself straight off just by doing that. So let's recap. If you're serious about achieving your goals, you've got to stop relying on force alone. Drop the sword. Instead, get smarter, be more strategic, and learn how to think your way to success, whatever that is to you. Thanks for tuning in to Jar of Marbles and our episode Drop the Sword. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Until next time, keep learning, stay clever, and keep dropping that sword. And so that's it for us today.
No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Well, Bob, we will be back next time, okay? So say good day to the family for me, give the butterfly a smile, and we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then, bye.
Bye.